to marry Josephine unless he
that it tests in highest degree.
Now there's supposed to be original version.
Retraction paper that was said to be signed by
In the case, he used a strong language that retract masonry. Likewise, Rizal was suspected against Spanish government.
Retraction.
The House will come to order. Good day, everyone. I'm pleased to welcome you to our History Debate 2021. The theme: Great Debate. Rizal Retraction on behalf of the House. I welcome our adjudicator for this day, Judge China May Kukia.
Good morning, everyone. You can take your seat now.
So now, on my right side, the government, while on my left side, the opposition. Motion. This House believes that the acts of Jose Rizal before the said execution have caused renouncement in Masonry and retraction against Catholic Church. Starting off, the Prime Minister of Government are Injurnin M. Hoybia and Aldrin J. M. Avenido. You may now defend the motion.
Good day, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. We, the government side, believe that Jose Rizal abjured in Masonry and retracted his statement against the Catholic Church. The document presented to the public is a strong evidence that Rizal had truly withdrawn in Masonry and retracted. Let us first address the document.
First, the letter of Rizal to his mother received on January 15, 1893. The letter say that Rizal had been going to the church every Sunday in the Pitan. Doesn't this show that Rizal had truly returned to the church? Next, the testimony of eyewitness Father Balaguer, who was with Rizal and represented Retraction for what prepared by Father P.O.P., a superior of Jesuit Society in the Philippines. Before the execution, he stated that on December 29, 1806, day before the execution, Rizal accepted and signed the documents in May 1935. Father Manuel A. Garcia found a document of Rizal retraction issued that account of the eyewitness not enough for retraction.
Thank you, Aldrin J. M. Avenido and Jordinon M. Hoybia. Now, for the leader of opposition, Jose A.D. M. Conde, Jethro Pakibot, and R.J. Mumar. You may now rebut the previous statement and provide a constructive of your side.
We, the opposition side, believe that the said document was forged according to online source joserizal.ph by Jose Rizal University. The fact of document forgery was revealed by Father Balaguer himself. Father Balaguer said that he couldn't remember whose exactly copy was the document, and even Father Pio couldn't verify it in his own statements.
The copy of the retraction paper that was said to be signed by Rizal was kept secret and was only published in newspaper who claimed to have seen and read it. When Rizal's family requested for the original copy, it was said that it was lost 39 years later. The original copy was found in the Archdiocesan Archives.
Instead of ending that, it only causes more argument, and questions in many people because of significant differences in the text of the said retraction document. According to Ricardo Pascual, PhD, who was given a permission by the Archbishop Nozaleda to examine the document, later concluded in his book, Rizal Beyond the Grave, that the documents presented was a forgery. Moreover, Rizal didn't expressly say that he retracted Masonry. He only said that he hated Masonry. So how is this a strong evidence of withdrawal and retraction? And you say that Rizal really retracted? How come he was still executed? Was the retraction enough for salvation of Rizal?
We would like to thank the leader of opposition. Now, let us call the Deputy Prime Minister, Desiree T. Monterola, Joseph Saidi Abinido, and James Anthony Pania.
In your argument, forgery of documents, it is also reasoned out in the same site that what the Archbishop and Father P. saw whose has not the original document of retraction. And the original document, which was almost eaten by termites, was kept by friars for preservation. Additionally, the retraction is a significant document because it established the act of marriage between Jose Rizal and Josephine Rocken. In Dapitan, the condition to them to be needed was the retraction. No retraction, no marriage.
In other words, Rizal could never marry Josephine unless he retracted first, and the sworn statement of the eyewitnesses like Father Balaguer agreed that there was a retraction and a marriage between the two. Moreover, after his marriage, Rizal dedicated a Catholic devotional book to his two sisters, Josefa and Trinidad, as well as his wife Josephine, which in his dedication mentioned, "To my dear and unhappy wife." Aren't these books are proofs of Catholicism? In addition, he said in his letter, "I abominate Masonry as an enemy of the Church and a society prohibited by the Church."
He used the word abominate, which means to detest in highest degree, abhor. In the case, he used a strong language that detract Masonry. Likewise, Rizal was suspected of rebellion, sedition, and illegal association against Spanish government. The retraction document is not related to what he was accused of, and as a consequence, it does not save him from execution.
I would like to thank the Deputy Prime Minister. Now, let us call the Deputy Leader of Opposition, John Rinaldo Hapos and Raymark J. Ladruna.
It is surprising that you speak up of marriage when in fact there was no document of marriage between Josephine and Rizal. Consequently, a number of writings and letters of Rizal does not mention Josephine as his wife. Correspondingly, Rizal did not even call Josephine as his wife in his last letter, Mi Ultimo Adios, which was the last letter of him before the execution. In that letter, he said his farewell to her as follows: "Adios, dulce estranjera, mi amiga, mi alegría," instead of "Adios, dulce estranjera, mi esposa, mi alegría."
Moriso, if Rizal did as Roman Catholic, as you have argued, then he should have been buried properly prior to him. And as for us, his burial was still concealed with mystery, because it is said that he was buried in a lot out of Roman Catholic cemetery in Papua. His name did not appear in the registry for Roman Catholics. In their circumstances, did Rizal really die as Roman Catholic?
Thank you, Deputy Leader of Oppositions. Now, for the government whip, J.N. Escolito and James Suri Jubak, you may now say your final words and conclude your side's argument.
With regards to no documents of the marriage and having been not mentioned of Josephine in Rizal's writings, it is explained in Garcia's account in his book, The Great Debate, Rizal Retraction, that Father Manuel A. Garcia discovered the retraction letter including the marriage certificate of Josephine and Rizal. It is also explained why Josephine was not mentioned in Rizal's writing as his wife. It is also because they were married before the execution or earlier their marriage. Moreso Rizal's Mi Ultimo Adios, the last official writing of Rizal, was written a day or before the execution. In other words, before the marriage.
In addition, that Rizal was not buried in a Roman Catholic church because he was already accused as a traitor against the Spanish, even though we Filipinos know that he is not. It is logical to think that the Spaniards didn't want an enemy to be buried with decency, and Rizal was no exception to that. In conclusion, Rizal truly absorbed Masonry and retracted his affiliations against the Catholic Church for the reasons that Masonry is the enemy and prohibited by the Church, and Rizal was trying to return to his church. In this case, Rizal did not fight the Catholic religion, rather, he fought those who abused the religion and the manner that friars practiced during that time. All of these reasons are provided and evidenced by documents presented and found by people as well as the statements testified eyewitness.
I think for the government with, for the opposition with, Ayan T. Tagaro and Crystal Annie B. Dualo. You may conclude your side's argument and preside your final words.
About the related Catholic book that Rizal gave to Josephine and his sister, this does not weight as an evidence. As Josephine was still in the Catholic court, it was fitting that Rizal gave her Catholic-related materials. But this doesn't mean that Rizal had finally retracted his word against the church.
Moreover, about the forgery of the documents, there are 3 copies of the documents about the retraction. The first one was the date December 29, 1890. Later, it bears the date December 29, 189 C. The number 0 was evidently altered to look like a letter C. Then still later, another supposedly original version came up. It has the date of December 29, 1896. This time, the number 0 has become 6. Isn't this enough proof that there was a forgery of the retraction? Even Father Balaguer, who was an eyewitness, has come inconsistent in his statements. So we therefore conclude that the absence of marriage document of Rizal and Josephine and his burial outside the Catholic Church cemetery of Baco shows that Rizal did not retracted back to the church. The lack of evidence or evidence proof about Rizal's retraction was just a false accusation.
Thank you, Crystal Ann B. Dualo and Ayan Tagalo. The debate is over. Thank you all very much for your great arguments. Maybe we now invite both sides to cross the house. Let us now hear what the educator thinks about the performance. Our team, Judge Chuna May Kukia. Please give some comments on both teams' performance and the result of today's debate.